Why is mulching your garden such a good thing? I'm going to show you a couple examples of what failed mulching and what good mulching does, especially for setting up for your garden the following year. This is a bed that I mulched very well last year, and as you can see, there's hardly any to next to no weeds growing inside of this guild here. Whereas I come over to here, this guild here, I did not mulch it well, and as you can see, I already got lots of grass and weeds growing back up inside of that guild. Another example of a well-mulched guild, hardly any weeds popping up. An example of a poorly mulched guild, all full of weeds. So now I gotta contend with these guys before I get this guild resown this spring. Mulching not only helps with water retention during the hot season, but for weed prevention coming into the next season and during the grow season, making it so you don't have to go through and actually weed your beds or your guilds as often as you would if you didn't have good layers of mulch. Now, if you're getting a garden started and you want to get a good base layer so you don't have to worry about tilling, because do a little bit of research on no-till garden, it is absolutely detrimental to your garden to till, especially frequently. But if you want to start a no-till garden, I'm going to show you how I mulch in my beds to prevent any weeds from growing, well, most weeds from growing through come springtime. I cover the whole bed or the guild with cardboard, pull off the plastic on the cardboard, and then lay that down, and that acts as a heavy weed barrier. Now, to keep this cardboard from blowing up, what I do is I cover it with straw. And yes, no straw is weed free, but it is very easy to tell the grass or the wheatgrass that grows up from the straw. So you can just get that pulled as soon as it starts to grow, but then you have a good base layer that will have it so you don't have to worry about coming through and weeding your guilds here. And this one I didn't cover quite thoroughly well enough with straw, but as you can see, the cardboard has prevented the weeds from growing through, except for the couple gaps in between the cardboard where I had plants growing here. This was I believe arugula. If you want to make your life so much easier come springtime for planting, I strongly recommend getting your beds, get them mulched in now. That way you're not having to worry about tilling, weeding, or bed prepping. Come springtime, you can just start planting. Take advantage of the pretty days while we have them. Get a little bit of work done now while you got a little bit of nice days. That way you can just get your seeds in the ground and get growing instead of having to worry about pulling weeds before you get planted and pulling all the weeds while the stuff is growing. If you want your beds to be ready so you don't have to do no bed prepping, you can just start planting like this bed here. Unlike this bed here where I got to get all that cleaned up, mulch your garden. And it doesn't just help with weed control, it also dramatically helps with water retention come the hot season. So we'll go from having to water every single day during peak summer to I was watering once a week to once every 2 weeks, depending on the week. But yes, mulch your garden, because this is much easier to start growing in. Mulch your beds now, even though it's still wintertime. You will thank yourself in the spring, I promise.